Top of the morning to you. It's the New York Hardcore Chronicles live. Show number 8,697. What's going on? Who's out there in the nuclear holocaust? Man, I was working outside yesterday. I felt like it was like, God, I'm never leaving my apartment again. Ever. That's it. I hope there's another pandemic. Not that I want anybody to die or anything, but fuck that. What's up, Lenny? Are you working outside, Lenny? Come on, Lenny. What's going on? Come to London, right? Typical summer weather, rain. Yeah. What's up, Joe Frank? Hope you're well, buddy. Lori Dawn. Wow. Must be a slow day over there if you're watching the show, Lori. What's Paulie Pork Chops? What do you say, buddy? Don't give Rat Bones any reefer, man. I had enough with him in the reefer already. What's up, Maddie? How does it finally feel to be 30? It's okay. I can't date teenage girls anymore, you know. It's tough being 30, you know. What's up in Ireland? Whew. Come on now. You're hiding inside? I hear that. I hear that. Where is... let's talk about some upcoming shows. You and me. You know what? Let me get this straight. Is Bill Cosby getting out of jail? Is that right? Did I see that right? They're letting Bill Cosby out? Damn. You know, why not, right? In the way the world is now. Hey, let him out, you know. Fuck that. Shit. Cosby is free, Sid says. Damn, man. That's kind of crazy, man. Who's feeling the Zappa shirt today, huh? Come on. Yep. Zappa in New York. My favorite records. Let's talk about some upcoming shows. You and me. Let's talk about some upcoming shows. This weekend, boys and girls, is the 4th of July People's Show. We're going to put the link out there, for everybody. And let's bring a lot of people on and let's see. I want to know what you're doing and what's happening and, you know, what's going on in your world. Because you're certainly more interesting than these fucking clowns I bring on this show. Just kidding. Sergio Vega coming up Sunday, July 11th. Of course, Quicksand has a new record out. And he plays in the Deftones and an Absolution. Wednesday, July 14th, we got Scott Helland, big music lover and historian, great guitar player. He was in Deep Wound with Jay Mascis, Outpatience. He has Frenchie and the Punk going on and Guitar Me of One. And then we hooked a big fish here. Wednesday, July 21st, Joey Shithead from DOA is coming on the show. So that's going to be pretty killer. I want to announce this show. I don't know if I announced this on the last show, but Rob Dukes from Exodus, formerly of Exodus, and Generation Kill is coming on the show. So that should be pretty cool. Looking forward to that. What's up, Dominic? What do you say, buddy? Hope you're well, man. You know? What's up, Michelle? All right. You know what? What else? Let's bring him on. We can't avoid this any longer. What's up?
You can't avoid this any longer.
Nice background noise there. What the fuck's going on?
Yes, you know what? Right when you said let's bring him on, everything's coming to life.
Right.
I'm in the furnace of Queens right now.
Bro.
It's 95 degrees, but all the trains are revving up right now, so you're getting a little extra ambiance today.
Dude, oh God, brutal.
So
brutal. Hey, what do you say, you and me and everybody out there, we do photo of the day. Boom. What do we got here? All right, let's have a little fun. Let's goof on it a little bit. But it does look a little bit like a Nuremberg rally, I will say that. Whoa. Boy.
Rally the troops.
What's up, Hags? How you doing, brother? Is it the foreskins? Is it the highwaymen? It's more than foreskins. Wait, there's a girl. I like the girl that you see over the left. She's like this. She's like you know, I love when people do that, like, you know, when you're up there and you know, like
They're feeling it.
into
They're feeling that moment is what they're doing, you know?
Is it the lemonade stand line? Is it a bunch of old people watching an old band? Scott Earth, silence equals death, New Jersey represent. Is it sperm birds? Is it Echo and the Bunnymen? Yo, I got a funny Echo and the Bunnymen story. Yo, Echo and the Bunnymen's hard. Yo, we almost had a physical altercation with Echo and the Bunnymen once. And
you almost fought the Bunnymen?
Yo, those dudes they're not like sissies, those guys. Is it
you don't ever say that a Bunnyman kicked your ass, you know?
Is it the Serial Poets? Is it Oingo Boingo? Is it the Blue Man Group Unpainted? If anybody wants to hear the Echo and the Bunnymen story, let me know. Right? The time we almost had to scrap with Echo and the Bunnymen. All right,
they did a great cover of People Are Strange by the Doors.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm not mad at Echo and the Bunnymen. I got no problem with them. All right, here's another shot. Okay, right answers only, please.
Yep. Come on now, people.
I can't even wrong answer this. I know, right? It's kind of right. This is funny though. There's always some humor left. Is it a rabies lookalike contest? That's good. Is it Trapped?
Oh.
Okay, here we go. Is it AF? Is it Agnostic Front? Is it Happy Birthday Roger? Is it Agnostic Flan? Good one, John. We haven't got our flan on in a while. Hey, I'm from Liverpool. I know one of Echo and the Bunnymen. I want to hear the story. All right, let's get through this, and I'll tell the Echo and the Bunnymen story. Go ahead. What is this?
All right, this is the birthday boy right here. One of our birthday boys. This is Agnostic Front at the Bowery Electric, as you can tell by the sign. This was December 2019. Agnostic Front and Sick of It All doing their little mini tour of the boroughs, and amazing day. Like squeezed into that little tiny room, as you can see, and just tearing it up. And I love this show, and that's one of my favorite places to see a band play. And you could see so many of our friends in these shots here. And I see Danielle LePage, obviously Gallo, and Craig Silverman, and Stigma, and just these shows were just fantastic. And
yeah, they were great.
Roger
looks
great. Like
Roger looks hard with his head shaved. Man.
Oh yeah, you know, and this because he always has either a hat or like a wrap on.
Yeah.
And he just looks like such a badass like this. And
Yep.
Did he get his? I know he was getting one of those tattoos on his head removed.
Yeah, the spider web. Yeah, he got it removed, and he said it was incredibly painful to get this tattoo taken off his head.
And he's getting something new, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Oof, he's a glutton.
So today is Roger's birthday.
Yes, Roger, as well as Phil Anselmo today.
It's Roger's birthday. It's Phil Anselmo's birthday. And it is Arnie Stone's birthday, and he's coming on the show in a little.
So birthday wisdom today.
Yep.
That's awesome.
So, shouting out Roger Moret, one of my oldest friends in the hardcore scene. I've known him a long time, and yeah, Roger and Arnie Stone are born on the same day. Could you believe that? And Phil Anselmo.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I think honestly. I think that's, I mean, whatever you want to call it, the start, whatever, but there's something, I'm connected with Roger and I'm connected with Phil. Like I always felt connected to those guys. And, you know, my dad's born on the same day, you know?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, and you know what? Say what you will about Phil, legendary frontman, you know? Absolutely.
Yeah, Phil's Phil, man. You know,
Yeah.
Phil's done some off-color stuff, but, you know, shit happens, you know.
So he's no Bill Cosby.
Listen, don't worry. You know, if they threw him in jail, they'll let him out anyway.
So
you know?
do you think OJ was the first one to call Bill Cosby and congratulate him?
So you want to hear the Echo and the Bunnymen story?
Yes.
So it goes like this. You know, I'll do it animated. So it goes like this. We were in Europe. I was with Biohazard, and we were playing festivals in Europe. And we were on one of those European festivals that's like, you know, Kiss, David Bowie, Biohazard, you know, Echo and the Bunnymen, you know, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and Fun Loving Criminals, you know, like some shit like that, you know. And we were in the catering tent, and I was with Evan from Biohazard, and we were online, and there was some sort of like misunderstanding. Like, I don't know, maybe we stepped in front of somebody or like kind of just got, you know, or they, I don't remember whether we did or they did, but we kind of had some words with these guys, and we were like, you know, this one dude, right? And we were like, whatever, you know, and we walked off, right? And we turned around, and it was Echo, and he was with the Bunnymen, and they meant business. Like they were like, he went and got his Bunnymen, and they were ready to scrap, and we were like, oh shit, we're gonna have to scrap with the Bunnymen?
Too much bunny business.
Too much. But you know, the beef got squashed, and there wasn't a Biohazard Echo and the Bunnymen, you know, scrap, you know?
There's a Biohazard song title right there, Bunnyman Beatdown.
Yes, Tom, I think they might have been with Rob. I think it was when we were on with Rob, you know? Danielle, my friend. Danielle LePage represent. Danielle, one of the only people that stepped up.
She's in those pictures, by the way, that we just showed.
Right.
You could see Danielle in the corner.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, Chucky Brown says, fun fact, Echo is actually the name of their drum machine back when they first started, and the guys in the band are actually the Bunnymen. We turned around, and it was Echo, and he was with the Bunnymen.
Hey,
anyway,
you just reminded me before I go, those shots from the Barry Electric, somewhere in that mob of people is Eugene.
Echo and the Bunnymen?
Is Eugene Hutz from Gogo Bordello.
Oh, yeah, he's
was
cool.
there. And he was up front there. Another amazing band that one of these days I'll bust out for Picture of the Day. Just a tremendously unique band.
Yep. All right. Hey, listen, go out there. I want you to work up a sweat, and
I'll see what I can do.
Bro, live long and prosper. At least try to make it through the day.
I'm melting.
I'll see you later, bro. Well, there you have it. It's the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, and we are sponsored by New York Hardcore Comics, The Organic Grill, the Texas Silver Rush, Chain Reaction Records and Skateboards, DTFM Vinyl Distro, Chacho's Tacos, and Generation Records. Chacho's Tacos, located in Corpus Christi, Texas, opened their doors in 2001, home of the almighty Chacho's Tacos. They cook up an incredible home-style Tex-Mex food, and this month they're celebrating their 20th anniversary. They've been supporting underground music since the beginning, and in their own words, we ain't stopping anytime soon. Touring bands that play Corpus Christi, swing by and get a home-cooked meal at Chacho's Tacos. We got you. The underground scene will never die. Please follow us on Facebook or on Instagram. DTFM Vinyl Distro is a record store that specializes in underground punk, ska, hardcore, metal, and more. Located in the heart of Fargo, North Dakota's industrial district, shop in person or online at www.dtfmvinyldistro.com, where the motto is death to false meadow. False meadow. You know what it is? Is that a Sopranos thing? Was that the daughter of the Sopranos name, Meadow? Is that right? Am I remembering that right? Meadow? Does that make sense? That said, I'm ready. You're ready. We're ready. Let's do this.
Rackbone! 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 Rackbone!
What's up?
You're not going to hijack the show, are you?
You know what? If you let me run my skit right now, you'll love it.
Run your skit or run your shit?
Oh, but I have a table full of shit, man. Yeah, I do.
All right, let's not get crazy, bro. We got a guest. We got a guest standing by.
How I want to go. First, let's just roll into it. I just want to thank my man Kevin Hagerty for hooking me up with this real quick. The Jersey surf punk necklace he got me. Pretty cool. Thanks, bro.
I'm not mad at Kevin Haggard Heggs, man. Heggs makes shit for his friends, man.
New Jersey surf punks, man. And I'm from Jersey, so I thought that was cool. Thanks, Heggy. And I want to roll right into it. I just want to go. I always show everything I got at the flea market this week. And I know you've seen marbles before from me, but I don't care because I got a big old bag of marbles this weekend. It's the first little thing I'm going to show. But the thing that makes these good is the way that little thin swirls are in there. There's something about the swirls, you know? And there's a yellow. There's an orange. But I love the thin ribbon in there. Super cool. There's a solid blockbuster. Nice white and orange there. I like that one. And then this one is cool because it's like a common. It's called a ribbon marble. See how it's got like the ribbons in there? But this one has two colors in it. See, there's a light blue and a dark blue. So, you know, marbles, you look at a big bowl of marbles, it looks boring, but they're subtle and they're cool. And I like collecting them. And I got
an Ozzy shirt?
Yeah, I bought this off the street right over here, man. That's the real one from the 80s. Ozzy for president.
Right on.
Sure. But let's keep rolling. Let's keep rolling because I do have a lot of stuff and I want to
go, baby, go.
Look, I got this little guy for $1. It's like a little Godzilla. You roll it. The flint is probably out. There's a little screw on the back of the head. You could probably replace the flint, but he's super cool. Little Godzilla, right? Godzilla's awesome always. Little Charlie Brown from 1950. Says on the bottom of it, 1950. Super cool. And then I gripped up a bunch of comic books. We'll go over them really fast here. Some 15 centers. Drew, you're muted.
That's my error right there, bro.
Yeah. Marvel Tales.
20. Oh, hell yeah, man.
I always like these Kirby's.
Oh, yeah, man. Jack Kirby in the house, man.
And then for a long time, I was a big fan. And I get these for like $1, $2 when I go to the flea market. But there was a time when like.
Oh, I know that I had that. That's Razorback on the cover of that one, right?
Yeah.
That's my man Razorback.
Yeah, man. But, you know, there was that time. I mean, hey, Peter Parker from Queens, right?
That's
the kid
right.
from Queens.
Rep that shit,
Spider-Man was big in New York, man. Everywhere. Come on, man. There was a time Spider-Man ruled my life, you know. That was all like, even in the Sunday, the paper every day, you know. You'd read that strip every day. So I bagged a bunch of those Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Mans this weekend. Show them off real quick. And then we're going to go into the next.
Is that right? Is that right? Peter Parker was from Forest Hills?
Oh, I don't know. I know he's Queens, you know. But the last
you know who was born in Forest Hills?
Who?
Me.
Yep. All right, there you go.
Yep.
But yeah, these are harder to find too. The Marvel Star Wars, like, you know, after the Star Wars run and the movies were over.
Oh, yo, Debo checking in from New York.
Yeah. But they started running Star Wars with like these characters, and now like people do custom kit bashes just to make like this character that they never saw as a toy. So pretty cool, you know. And then my favorite of the Star Wars stuff is sometimes these little smalls, and these used to come in the Wonder Bread. These Star Wars cards are super old, man. You got Obi-Wan, Leia, the Millennium Falcon.
Princess Leia.
Yeah, I always, you know, I knew that one. Star Destroyer, Luke. What is the last one? Oh, the X-Wing. X-Wings are always badass.
Brian Perlis, I love Next to Forest Hills. Is that right? You love Next to Forest Hills? Is there a spot there that you do your loving?
You know, whenever I say I love you to someone on the internet, I always type I live you. It's like a tap, you know?
I love you.
But let me get through these last couple of things.
All right.
Out of here, guys. You got a big show. I'm
All right.
saving up for the big guy. So Star Wars was big with cards. You know, the bubblegum cards were really huge when I was growing up. And I always liked these cards. The blue and red are the most popular of the Star Wars cards. But later on, they came out with other colors. And I always liked the orange ones, you know. They were like just a cool look, you know. And let's hope we can turn them over right. Bang.
Bob Riley, what's up?
Oh, Bob loves this stuff.
Yep.
But I like the shots of the creatures in the cantina, you know?
Hey, I got a Star Wars trivia question.
What do you got?
I learned something the other day about Star Wars. This is crazy. You ready? This goes out for everybody out there. Do you know that John Wayne has a credit in Star Wars? John Wayne is in Star Wars. Who knows in what capacity?
I never knew this.
This is crazy, bro.
Wow, that's pretty crazy.
Anybody?
And
don't look it up, you friggin' slugs.
I'm almost done, Drew. Let me finish up.
Right.
We can talk shit. I got two more things. But I like that orange thing, too. And it's funny that you said that about the little secret about John Wayne, because they had these cards that showed you, like, the behind the scenes, you know? And when you're like a little kid, that's a cool shot, right? Getting the explosions at the Death Star. Jawas carrying R2. That's Luke looking down at the Tusken Raider before he gets jumped. Anthony Daniels getting his costume put on, and the Millennium Falcon. And now you can buy that toy that big. Like, you can buy that super deluxe.
Can I let
the Star Wars run? Let me get through it, buddy. I got one last thing to show everybody.
Come on, man. I got a guest standing by.
I know. This is it.
Go.
Last thing I found at the flea market this week was these really cool Robocop buttons, man. These are super cool. And I got them all for like $5, which is pretty cool because
I like that button. Thank you for your cooperation.
Yeah, man. So I'll run those really quick.
Cool. What does that one say? Oh, uphold the law.
Think it over, creep.
That's good.
And then this last one I thought was cool, and I'm going to wrap it up with that. You know, I just wanted to show off what I found this weekend, you know. I found this is pretty rare. My buddy works over at Forbidden Planet, and Forbidden Planet's been one of the best toy stores to me in New York since the 80s, a long time. I used to always go there. But for a short period in the 90s, they had a store up on 59th somewhere. And
oh, yeah, right.
I found this button, and I called my buddy, and he said, yeah, that's pretty, you know, obscure thing, you know, like, because that place was over there for a minute. And the last message I want to leave you all with is I found this in a comic book this week, too. And it's probably pretty old. I don't know what year it's from, but this is my message unto you, people. All right?
All right.
Let's kicking it live, B. Let's have a great show. Happy birthday, Drew.
Wait, I want to tell you about John Wayne, man. John Wayne in Star Wars.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Do you remember the scene where I don't even know how to explain this? Luke and Obi-Wan and them are like in the village there, whatever, and that one like dude with the hood and the long nose like sees them, and he goes to the stormtroopers and he goes that sound that he makes. I found out that was the guy who put the movie together went and got some John Wayne speech from a movie and made it go really fast. So that's John Wayne's appearance in fucking Star Wars is when he goes, that's John Wayne.
That's nuts. That's like James Earl Jones being Darth Vader's voice and David Prowse being the actor. You know, it's like so great.
All right, bro.
Yeah, let's have a killer show. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day, everybody. And hope to see everybody at the shows coming up soon. We got stuff popping off. New York's back. Let's do it.
Ragbone! 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 Ragbone!
How's that, bro? I got my Star Wars trivia on, you know. Before we bring our guest on, I want to mention that. Hold on, let me clear the deck. What's the date? Oh yeah, just a reminder. Saturday, July 10th is the A7 is now an A7 Back to the New York Hardcore Roots compilation bash with Antidote, NYHC, Dead Blow Hammer, Crazy Eddie, The Car Bomb Parade, and Reaching Out. Pitchfork merchandise will be available. Yes, boo-hoo, there's a little drama. Hopefully it's going away, you know. One thing's for sure. I got to tell you one thing's for sure. You're not going to see me on Facebook crying like a little girl and carrying on, man. That shit is for rubes, man. If I have something to say, I'll say it to your face or whatever, but certainly not on Facebook, man. So there you go. Coming up. There you go. Big show. We're playing music. There you go. Boo fucking who. Let's bring our guest on. He has suffered long enough. Here we go. Today's guest hails from Bucks County, PA. He is the director photographer behind the Instagram page The Band Was Here. He is a documentary filmmaker and co-founder of the production company Nom de Plume, a collaborative of filmmakers and creators whose narrative and documentary work has traveled the globe, screening in premiere festivals and venues such as Sundance, South by Southwest, Fantastic Fest, and Doc NYC. Please welcome, coming at us from Yardley in the Keystone State of Pennsylvania, Mr. Steve Birnbaum. Brother.
What's up, buddy?
How are you?
Good. I'm actually in the Adirondacks. I'm in New York.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not in PA. Okay. So yeah, I'm upstate, about 4.5 hours away from the city.
So you got a place up there as well?
Yeah.
So wait a second. Having a fucking place in the woods in PA is not enough. You have to have a place in the woods in upstate New York.
There's too much Amish. There's way too much Amish in Pennsylvania. So you get up here and you get, no teeth and things like that.
You grew up in Bucks County.
I did, yeah. And that's where I'm permanently, residing, and yeah, that's where I'm from. But yeah.
Looks like a nice place you got there. Let's check you out, man. Looks nice.
It's a lot of trees, a lot of lake. It's, you got to clear your head. City gets to you sometimes.
Bro, I'd have a nervous breakdown up there, bro.
The shining, a little shining up here. Yeah, it gets a little lonely in the winter. I lived
in Vermont. I was married and raised a kid and lived in Vermont for a bunch of years. And yeah, it's another world, man.
Yeah.
It's another world. So tell us, how did you come up? Who influenced you as a photographer? What made you camera before we get into it?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I lost you there for a little bit, but you're saying about the photographers that influenced me. And...
Yeah, how'd you come up? Where'd you? Who were your influences coming up?
Yeah, a lot of music photography was a huge influence on me. Early on, when I was starting as a director, people like Spike Jonze, who's more of a filmmaker, but also was doing photography on the side, was a huge influence on me. Bob Gruen, the New York scene of Charles Peterson, the whole grunge scene of, sub pop grunge. He was probably one of the biggest influences on me to pick up a camera. And that whole scene of, grunge in Seattle and everything was big on me. Glennie Friedman was huge. The skateboarding culture, the punk culture, everything that he's done with the hip hop scene. I mean, he has his hand in everything. So yeah.
And we are excited. He is coming on the show. So
that's awesome.
We're excited about that,
Yeah, that'll be a good one.
And musically, did you grow up in a musical household?
I did. No, I did not.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, it wasn't like, my parents didn't listen to a lot of music. I just remember a lot of oldies, Ron Netz, things like that, which are great. I love it, but there's just stuff on the radio. It wasn't until, like 92, 93 that I really got into music when I found Nirvana. Just a friend, typical story of just finding Nirvana and changing your life. You know, I was 12, 13, and that really changed the trajectory of everything. And Nirvana opened me up to a lot more music, and from there I just expanded out. Yeah.
Nirvana's an interesting band, you know, in a lot of ways. You know, like them or not, love them or hate them, whatever. They were a portal. They were a portal for a lot of people, you know, to sort of go backwards from there and go, wow, what were these guys listening to? Which goes back to, like, you know, Black Flag, you know, Meat Puppets, and you know, stuff that, you know, punk, hardcore, and of course, Dave Grohl, you know, Dave Grohl, who
you were at that Foo Fighters show recently, weren't you?
Yeah, right. You know what? I actually went to the time they played before that. I went. They put on a good
show. You cannot deny that they put on a good show.
Yeah, they do their thing, man. They do their thing, and I'm not hating. They do their thing. I carry on. You know, it's part of the gag, but you know, they're talented. They do their thing. It's amazing how they've sort of become the face of rock and roll now. You know, like, for a minute, you know, it might have been like a minute it was the Rolling Stones or Aerosmith, and now, like, you know, there's so few rock and roll bands.
Yeah, true.
Yep. Oh, Brian says, I was at the Foo Fighters show at MSG. They put on a good show. Yeah, they do their bit. So let's do some pictures, and then let's sort of talk about the process of how you do it. Yeah. Now, let me see what I could start with here, man. There's so much great stuff. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We'll start with something like this. This is pretty cool. You know, pretty basic, and everybody can dance to it. You know, so this. I mean, obviously, this is the Ramones. You know, in front of CBGBs, and tell us a little bit about the process.
Yeah. It's Bob Groen who originally took that photo. I don't know what the year was on that, maybe 77 or so. But
probably 75, 76.
Yeah. I mean, what I do is I print out the images. I print out all the images. Some people think it's photoshopped or, right. But yeah, they're all printed out, and I go to the locations and just hold them up. I try to match them up as best as I can, and be respectful of the original artists. And I mean, Bob Groen and the whole Ramones and CBGB scene was huge on me. Just bringing me to New York and living there for a long time. That whole scene was influential. So that's probably one of the earlier pictures that I got, because it's just so familiar and iconic.
And here's another one. Here's another Ramones one, and that's for those of us that are in the know. That's in the alleyway behind CBGB's, right?
Yeah, and actually, you know what? I recently went back and I did it, because that's actually not. I don't think that's the location. It's actually probably to the left there a little bit more, which I thought it matched up pretty good. But doing research on some of other images I've seen the Ramones and the alleyway back there, it's actually probably a little bit more to the left. So I redid it. I'm going to post that soon. But so that's actually, it looks good, but it's accurately, they're probably to the left there. So
yeah, I think I have. Let me look in the.
Do you remember of the back alleyway and the location of the exit of CB's?
Oh yeah, of course.
What was that last door? Was that last door the exit?
It was hard to tell. I'm actually looking in my archive now for I have Ramon. I have a bunch. Let me see if I
wish I sent you the remake.
Here it is. I got it. I found it. Bingo. Found it. Hold on. Get a load of this. This is taken in that very same alley.
Yeah, so that's the doors to the left there. They're right.
And this was taken by the same photographer who took the original photo.
Yeah,
that's Danny Fields.
Danny's
who's in my film. Who the fuck is that guy? The Fabulous Journey of Mike Alago. He's like Alago's mentor. But this is what I remember the alleyway behind CBGBs.
Jeez.
It was gnarly, bro. Like when we would, hardcore matinees, the back door would sometimes be open, and like you'd be able to like go out there and smoke some grass or something or whatever. But they didn't let people out there. It was like a junkyard basically.
Wow. What's to the left of them? It was just a fenced off area?
Yeah, it was.
I mean, now the buildings are there, but
Yeah. No, yeah, yeah, you mean where the truck is, the CBGB's truck? What was over there?
Yeah.
It was like just a nasty old Lower East Side vacant lot with like burnt out cars in it and stuff.
Jeez.
And it was just, perpetually like a mess back there, And now, you go back there now and it's just like
there's twinkly lights hanging and nice restaurant and
Yeah. Now, here's a picture of you, doing your thing and out in the street, lining it up
in front of the Dakota. Yeah.
Yeah. Now this is pretty much, I could say this is my neighborhood, and
yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, that's what what you're saying. It's nothing more than that,
Right.
Minus the trying to not get hit by cars and die. But
it's
and getting old and trying to get down on my knees like that. It's
I wanted to ask about the quality of the photos you print out, because looking here, let me grab another one. Looking at when you do these things, here, let's do. You know what? Being that we just did the Dakota, let's hold on. Let's do another Dakota here. Hold on. So this is cool. This is the Dakota in the background. And it really seems like you have really high res, high quality print. So I assume you have a good high quality printer. And
yeah. And I definitely try to look for the best quality picture. I mean, some of these images are still like the Frank Zappa, which we might talk about later.
Yeah.
Stills from, an 8mm,
Sure.
documentary or film or whatever. I just try to always look for the best quality pictures, just to obviously respect the photographer and their photos. And sometimes I can't get that, but it kind of gets lost in it anyway when I'm holding it and it's at a distance. You don't actually see the quality of it. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is Ozzy Osbourne at the Dakota, and Ray Hogan says Drew's walking tour drops knowledge on these locales. I do a cinematic and music walking tour of New York, and this is one of the locations. I'm very like the Dakota is one of my strong points.
So what's your tour? Where do you go in certain areas within the city?
Oh yeah, my tour starts in Times Square. We do a little Times Square, then. Sort of history, a little Broadway, Times Square, and I show videos and clips as we go. I line them up with the like what you do.
That's
literally,
awesome.
I line them up with the location and let the video clip you like in the beginning of Vanilla Sky when Tom Cruise is running through. Right, like we stand it, and this is where that happened. Then we go up to 8th Avenue. We take the subway up to the Dakota, and I do a whole Dakota thing. I'm very strong on Dakota because I walked past the Dakota probably a half hour before John Lennon was shot and killed.
Wow.
Because I went to high school there and I walked up the sidewalk. I probably walked past Mark David Chapman.
Jesus.
And the guy that ended up with the signed record was the super in my dad's building.
Wow.
Phil.
He was a pretty super. He had a good relationship with John. Like one of his photographs, I think, I might be wrong here, was one of the covers of John Lennon's album. I think he was like a super fan. I might be getting this wrong, but there was one guy that was a super fan of John Lennon, always hanging out there, took a lot of photos. They kind of befriended each other, and actually was one of his photos was used on.
Well, there is a photo of John Lennon signing his record, Mark David Chapman's record.
Yeah.
But and as the story goes, I see there's a little bit of interest in the chat room. I'll explain. We used to hang out in the park after school and throw the Frisbee around when I was in high school. And I lived up at the Bronx at the time. I took the #1 train to the Bronx home on 72nd Street. I walked out of the park, walked past the Dakota, up to Broadway to get on the #1 train. By the time I got on the #1 train at 72nd, got off the 231st Street and walked home and walked in my apartment. It was on the news.
Wow.
So I literally walked past Mark David Chapman. And there is a photo of Mark David Chapman signing the record, of John Lennon signing the record for Mark David Chapman. Mark David Chapman took the record and hid it in the bushes. The super in my dad's building, Phil, when after he got shot and everybody gathered around, he saw the record and picked up the record. And they confiscated the record for evidence. And he went through a lengthy court thing to get the record back. It took him 20 years to get the record back as evidence, because they used it as evidence. And one day I opened up the New York Post. There was an article about Phil and the fact that he sold the record for, like, at the time, I don't know what it was, like $500,000. It was the last things John Lennon ever signed,
It's crazy. So it was pretty, I mean, obviously people knew that John Lennon lived there, but it was pretty apparent every time you walked by there that, he was right there. He lived there.
Oh, yeah, no, John Lennon
were always
John
there.
Lennon loved New York, man.
Yeah.
He loved, that's what part of the reason it's so fucking tragic. He loved New York. New York loved him. My dad's a cameraman who worked for my dad, Jimmy McCalmont, shot all that great footage in Central Park of John and Yoko walking around. Yo, that's my dad's cameraman, Jimmy McCalmont, and he shot it on 16 millimeter. He would walk around. They loved New York. People didn't harass them in New York.
Yeah, no, yeah, they were cool. It was that New York cool where you just say hello, you keep on walking, pester them. And that was great. Yeah.
It's just such a god, that and the Dimebag Darrell thing. It's just incredible,
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Let's talk about this one a little bit. This is an interesting one.
It's by Arcane. Yeah, Arcane did that for I believe it was an article in Life magazine. I don't know if it was like the British kind of rock scene. But yeah, they did an article on the Who, and I think they just wound up using it for later for covers and stuff. But Arcane's just amazing photography. He did the Harlem, the One Day in Harlem photograph of all the jazz musicians in Harlem. He's an amazing photographer.
Lenny says that's not Grant's tomb. Grant's tomb is you would think so, Lenny, but it's not. Now, this is sort of in my orbit. This is in my neighborhood here. This is Morningside Park, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah. And there's some great, I don't know if I have it. Yeah, it might be. I see one of three. So I did have some other images. There's a wider shot.
It's not the Soldier and Sailors Monument either.
No,
that's not. I live right in front of it. I'll show you. We'll get to that. But this is in Morningside Park, which is sort of weird. Like, what were the Who doing in Morningside Park?
Yeah. I don't know if maybe Arcane had a studio or he lived up there. That's where. But I think it was an assignment for Life magazine. So why? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the backstory. I can't find too much information on it. But
how do you find? Like, is this sort of information out there, or did you see this photo and go and start researching it and like process of elimination? Was something like this common knowledge where this was shot?
Some of it is, yeah, and I try to avoid a lot of just like going online and seeing locations that might be a little bit more just out there, just known, because I like the search of it. I like diving into interviews, diving into the contact sheets and trying to find it out myself. I like the hunt of it, but can't remember how this one came about. I think I'm familiar with Mars. I too was amazed that it was there. And if there's a wider shot where you get a clearer understanding of where they're at, there's two kids sitting on the side of them on stairs. Right. It looks like it's in England though. I mean, just with the flag and these kids that almost look
I always
like
thought so.
Yeah.
That's why Morningside Park. What?
Yep.
I mean, Morningside Park is a sketchy place. As a matter of fact, tragically, I think that poor college girl was killed right at the bottom of those stairs where that was taken.
Oh, wow. The one that about like 3 or 4 years ago.
Man.
Wow.
That right there where you took that picture, there's a staircase that goes down into the park. And at the base of the staircase, sadly, that's where she was murdered.
Wow. I thought it was a little bit more downtown, but wow, it's crazy. Yeah,
so this here, you want to talk about the Soldier and Sailors Monument.
So
like Lenny said, this is the Soldier and Sailors Monument. this is literally around the corner from where I live. Like this is like on my block. You know?
Yeah. Ronnie Ronette there. Yeah, that's there's some other photos of her on the cannons. Drew, you probably know there's some cannons out there, and I couldn't get it that day because there were some skateboarders hanging out, and I didn't want to bother them. But there's some other good images of just her hanging out, but unfortunately, is that fence still there? I mean,
yes,
yes.
And the fence is a bummer, and I'll tell you why. Because it's fenced off, and yet they don't have the money to do the work. So it's like it's fenced off until God knows when. It's really a bummer because when the fence wasn't there, on the back end of it, there's a big staircase, and they did Shakespeare. They did like Shakespeare in the Park back there, and the public could sit on the big staircase. You know, like they do it right out in the park in the summer. They do Shakespeare, and sometimes we go out there and sit out there. You know, it's like a small troupe. They do their thing, but the fence is still there. They need they have no plans to fix it, but it's dangerous. So it's blocked off.
Yeah.
Let's get jiggy with it here, and let's go big. This is one that really caught my eye, and I think our fan base will love this, man. I love this one. Explain this one, will you?
That's City Gardens. If for people who know, I mean, it's a pretty iconic image of Henry and Glenn, and just the photo's tough to try to get anything. I tried to match it up as best as I could. I went there, and this is where I am in Pennsylvania. This is about 15 minutes away, just over the river, and I had to duck in under a fence to get in there. It's just run down now, unfortunately, but great history of City Gardens in Trenton, and I mean, this is I'm gauging it. It's maybe outside the entranceway of City Gardens.
I think you nailed it, man.
There's those poles. I mean, those poles are still there.
It looks to me like you 100% nailed it, man.
Yeah. So I mean, that's my best bet. But yeah, I mean, it's there. It's outside there somewhere. So, but yeah, I mean, that's an iconic image.
Did you go to City Gardens when you were coming up?
I didn't know, and unfortunately, it's great history. I've been meaning to read. There's a book out there, and I think there's a documentary as well. I've been meaning to check out, but some great history, amazing bands that came through. I mean, I think the Ramones played there, 25 times, 30 times or so. I mean, Jon Stewart used to bartend there. Had you been there?
I have never been to City Gardens.
Wow.
And also, like, I never went to the Anthrax in Connecticut either. And I think part of that is I was living in the city. And like, I'm not sure why I would need to go out there when I was living in the city. I mean,
I think it was kind of like a stop before going to the city. Or I could be wrong, but
absolutely. It was either direction. So I never had a reason, to go there. This, of course, Washington Square Park.
Obviously, yeah, and that's Glennie Friedman. So that's
Glennie Friedman.
You're gonna have him on there, but
that's cool. Yeah,
Glennie and some of a lot of the punk photographers, BJ Pappas, I love, adore a lot of her work, but they use these wide, almost fisheye lenses, and it's kind of tough to match up in, but I try to do the best I can. Yeah.
Is this a Glenn E. Friedman photo?
No. Yeah. Okay. I don't. Who did that? I should have it on the description there.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But this is of course Eric B. and Rakim. We like them a lot.
And the designer too, the iconic designer. I'm drawing a blank here, but the jackets were classic, and the styling of that whole thing. There's another shot of the back of the jackets.
For sure.
Yeah. It's classic. What's your history with them? You worked with them, right? I've seen some pictures.
I worked with them a couple of times early on. A friend of mine, Scott Calvert, who came up doing music videos. He did Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, Parents Don't Understand, and he did what a big video for him, big break was Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Nice.
That one, Good Vibrations, he directed that. And he did a lot of hip hop stuff. He did Eric B. and Rakim, Microphone Fiend, and he did Eric B. and Rakim, Follow the Leader.
Wow.
And I was the stage manager on a film stage in Astoria, Queens called Riverview Studio. If I'm remembering this correctly, they shot.
Is that where Salt and Pepper was shot?
No, Salt and Pepper Shoop Shoop was shot at 3Gs, where I was the other state. That was the next job I had over there. Shoop Shoop was shot at 3Gs, where I went after Riverview Studio. But they came in. Actually, Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, Parents Don't Understand. Remember all the graffiti on the wall?
Yeah.
That was on my stage.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they did all that, and then as the stage manager, I was paid to cover it over. But back then, the music video, the golden age of music video per se, I got to know. I knew a lot of the people on the crew, and Scott, who was directing, and then on the Microphone Fiend, I was the second assistant director.
There you go.
And running around Manhattan. So I worked on Microphone Fiend and Follow the Leader.
Great, it's awesome.
And then recently, Eric B is a big fight fan, and we go to a lot of the fights. And we were at a post-fight press conference a couple years ago. I was with I might have been with Craig Satari from Sick of It All, and maybe Cousin Joe from Black and Blue Productions. And someone said, "Yo, that's Eric B over there." And he was a bit unrecognizable to me. I mean, it's been 20 years, 25 years.
Yeah.
And I said, I walked up to him. I said, "Hey, man," I said, "Drew Stone, this and that." I said, "Yo, I worked on Microphone Fiend and Follow Leader," and he was just like, "Yo, that was magic,"
Awesome.
And that was really.
I know there's a picture out there. You don't have it handy that you can.
Oh yeah. Hold on. I'm afraid everybody's fucking sick of seeing this thing already. Hold on.
I can't get sick of that. It's classic.
Yeah, it's a good one, man.
And the wardrobe alone that you're wearing is just.
Hold on, I gotta find it. Where is it? Eric B. and Rakim. Am I spelling that right? Yeah, here we go. Woohoo! Looking back, I just wish I would have shot more photos. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just wish, moments like these, I would have just shot more photos.
There it is. That's great.
It's like, this is so classic. Eric B. rocking the Milwaukee Brewers gear.
Yeah. Even that 49ers jacket's classic. That's just,
and of course, and we're all wearing the acid wash shit. Yeah, right. Thomas Starkey says the contrast in that image is burned into my retina. I know, man.
Great.
Yeah, man. So, yeah, and these guys, before there was the Wu-Tang Clan, there was motherfucking Eric B. and Rakim, and they rolled with some straight gangsters, man. Like these guys rolled with some straight up gangsters, And I was, and then I sort of got my, I made my bones, and then it went on, and then after that, I produced Onyx Slam, and did a lot of early.
That was a tough scene too, with the whole Biohazard and Onyx. I was scared as a white suburban dude in Pennsylvania. I was scared shitless. Onyx came around, but that just blew up.
We talk about it was the golden age of music video, and anything went. It was a really precious time. You know what I mean? It was we get a permit. We get a permit from the. We get a permit from the city, and we'd go create havoc. Be like, "Fuck you, we have a permit," and it wasn't until later that people sort of abused that, and that they, made it so you can't do playback in the street anymore. That's why in later videos people are wearing earbuds. You know what I mean? Like, we used to show up at 9 a.m. with fucking speakers and a fucking drum set and fucking blast them and be like, "Fuck you, we have a permit." You know?
Yeah. I mean, and just the power of the music video and the MTV and all those shows that made or break. It
was I'm working on a book and there's a chapter called the Golden Age of Music Video, and just how it was like the Wild West. Like people would be like, let's build a volcano and like people, all right, Speaking of kind of speaking on the hip hop thing, here's an act that like really resonated with a lot of us here. Tell us what this is.
Yeah, Grandmaster Flash, the Furious Five. I mean, that's like, for me too. Those are early songs from them, and Curtis Blow, and that whole scene was was just iconic, and I love that the B-boys and the graffiti scene and Wild Style and just all that was just great, and. Yeah.
I love this one a lot. Looking through your work, and like to me, some of them are sort of like no-brainers. You know what I mean? But I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. But once in a while, you hit the mark with something like this, and this is really nice because it really conveys the past and the present.
Yeah, and I'm actually surprised that, I mean, you can almost see the building in the original photo. It's already burnt out there. Yeah, I'm surprised they kind of rebuilt it as the same thing. But I mean, can't imagine what Harlem was looking like back in the day of like we were talking about earlier, back in CBGBs. I mean, whole different world. Yeah,
this was big, man, because I went to public high school in the Bronx. I went for a while there before I got tossed out, but I went to JFK High School in the Bronx, and like I was going to public high school in the Bronx when this rap stuff hit.
Wow.
Like in public school, and just have vivid memories of this stuff, and everybody had like the boombox that he has in this picture. I have a vivid memory of everybody. JFK would have like a couple city buses that would line up. It was like not school buses, but you get on a city bus and they would take everybody to the train or whatever. And everybody was on the bus, and probably like 15 people had like those big boom boxes, right? And the call would be out like, yo, Kiss FM or whatever, and everyone would dial into the same station. And I'll never forget this. It was Rapper's Delight, which was to me was like really the first, as far as I can recollect, as far as this white boy remembers, rap, and the whole bus, everyone tuned in, and the whole bus, White Rock, we all loved it. The White Rock Kids, the Homeboys, the B Girls, everybody, the whole bus was like, it was surreal. That was some Bronx unity back then,
That's great. Yeah. I mean, just hip hop and the punk scene, there's so much familiar things that, go together, going back to Lenny Friedman. I mean, just like it was, just the music and how it broke and what it stood for and everything else. There's a lot of, similarities. And that's what I love about both early hip hop and the punk scene. So.
Absolutely. No, Lenny, I didn't go to Taft, but my dad did. He's coming on the show soon. You know who else went to Taft High School with my dad? Stanley Kubrick. Yep. That's crazy, right?
Did he go during the same time?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, my dad always says he was, let's
camera.
Let's bring him on. Hey, Pop.
Hey.
Arnie, happy birthday.
Thank you. I heard the Bronx, so my ears perked up.
Hey, Dad, Stanley Kubrick went to Taft High School, right?
He went to, we both are very proud of, neither one of us graduated. Yeah, he went to Taft.
Do you have any? Do you remember him or anything? Did you have any interaction?
He was just the guy with the camera around his neck. I never knew him really personally, but he was a cousin of one of our clients, Art Ross.
Yeah.
He also went to the same public school I did, PS 64.
Right. Right.
He lived about 4 blocks away.
Dad, everybody's wishing you a happy birthday.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah.
Today is the birthday.
The big 88, huh?
I don't know why you have to mention numbers,
Okay. Well,
today is the birthday, and it's time to leave the past in the past.
There you go.
And we accept life on life's terms, one day at a time until the end of time. That's my rap.
There you go. Hey, let's this photo here. Let's this one. I like this one a lot for a couple of reasons. One, it's in my neighborhood. It's the West Side Highway here, and it's Miles Davis. Steve, can you tell us how did this one come together? This one looks like it would be a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah, so I mean, this was probably the first image I saw, and then I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be able to track this down. So something like this, I'll dive in more to the contact sheets, try to find other images, other angles, and sure enough, there's an alternate angle looking the other way, away from the highway, and sure enough, in the background, you see the monument that Ronnie Ronette was in. So I was able to track it down. There's a pull-off area. You can see it in my photo.
Sure.
There's a pull-off area. And so, something like that is just investigating like that and trying to find the right location.
Do we have, Shannon says, that car? I mean, I'm not a big car guy, but is that is that an old Mustang or a Porsche?
I have it in the description. I forget. Yeah, it is. I believe it is a Porsche. I'm trying here. Look, I'm looking at my,
yeah.
It's a 1967 Ferrari 275 GTB. Yeah, Ford. Yeah, so
wow.
That's there's some images of the whole car. It's pretty nice. Yeah.
Hey, Pop, do you have any recollection? You went and saw Miles Davis back in the day, right?
I saw Miles Davis quite a few times. We would go to Birdland. First, we go to the Palladium. I don't know if it's maybe before your time. And that was the big dance. That was the Mambo home, And after the Palladium, if we didn't get lucky, we would go to Birdland. And at Birdland was a very small club. And they had a little backspace where you could stand crowded in there. There were tables, but we never could afford that. And we went down there multiple times. I saw Miles Davis many times. Coltrane, Stan Getz, who I still listen to all the day. I remember seeing Sarah Vaughan there, Ella Fitzgerald, Thelonious Monk, and on and on. And we would go there constantly. I never honestly was a big Miles fan. We somehow got into the MJQ, the Modern Jazz Quartet in my neighborhood. I never saw them at Birdland, but Birdland we went quite often. That was a stop, and it was cheap. I don't remember. It had to be very cheap if we went constantly, to get in.
Hey, Dad, I got a question from our man RS70. And I know this is a great one, and I got to ask it. What was Mr. Stone's first car? You got to tell the Stallion's car story, Pop.
Well, it was a 1930-something Buick, and it had all my friends, we chipped in, I think it was $50 or $75, and it had running boards, and then you could pull down the shades. It was a place to hang out with your girl and whatever. We never had licenses, and in those days, no one had a license. We didn't have insurance, But the game was we would go somewhere in the Bronx and someone would drive and someone's on the running board. The idea was to knock them off the running board. That was the game. And then try to run them over. That was a big game of chicken.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
But that was fun. That was fun.
That's pretty.
I don't remember anybody getting run over, but that was the object.
It's like having a rock fight, someone's going to get hurt, So, hey, Dad, tell us just real quick about you. You had a little bit of a recording career, right? And you made a couple of recordings back in the late 50s. Tell us about it.
It was in the middle. Well, we had a film company with partners with Pitoff. And then we started a record company on the side, and we did about 15. I put out about 15 records, none of which were a real success. We had one we sold about 50,000, and we went on early Bandstand, and we would do some video, which was ahead of its time, like high contrast, over the dances, and this was in the days of Alan Freed, and. But it was a lot of fun. That's all I can say. But we were not a great. I cut one record, which.
So that one record, I want to, I had it. It was for years. You gave it to me on a cassette, and I transferred, and I put a little video together, and we're gonna play it for everybody. It runs 2 minutes. Let's have some fun.
Oh God.
I had a science teacher who would turn into a creature after class. I had a science teacher who would turn into a creature after class. After school one day I thought of climbing up a wall and laughing like a crazy man and having a ball. I had a science teacher who would turn into a creature after class. He was mild and gentle like a kitty cat, filling up the test with this and that. But one day I caught him after school, picking up the testers and becoming a ghoul. I had a science teacher who would turn into a creature after class. I had a science teacher who would turn into a creature after class. Goodbye, science teacher. You played real cool. So long, science teacher. You're a crazy fool. Goodbye, science teacher. The word got around that he flipped his wig. The principal told him he lost his gig. A doctor came in and took a lot of notes. All the company cats dressed in little white coats. Goodbye, science teacher.
Now that's hardcore.
I hope King Curtis didn't hear that. I was breaking up.
That was Pop.
That's
you don't
great.
know how hardcore that's real hardcore right there, Pop.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, that's now that was King Curtis on sax, right?
Yeah.
And tell us about the other track that you did, and the guy went on to Hollywood.
Well, one day the mailman said, I got a guy. My son has a tape, and we listened to it, and we signed him. We named him Hathaway. His name was Joel Hirschhorn. And then I found out later he won 2 Academy Awards. He did The Towers. He did big movies. That was our claim to success in Wig Records. We signed 2 Academy Award winners. The mailman.
Wig Records.
We had Wig Records and Far Out Publishing. That was it.
That's awesome. Well, all right.
I'll play that again, Drew. It hurts to hear that. But anyway.
Pop, it's awesome. Everyone loves it.
Yeah.
Hey, tell my dad you guys loved it, because now he's going to be upset with me that I played it.
I'm not upset.
All right, Pop. Well, happy birthday, everybody.
Yeah, I'm gonna head out the door and
okay. I love you, Dad. I love you, Dad, and have a happy birthday.
Thank you.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Oh boy, I'm going to hear
There you
about
go.
it. I'm going to hear about it later now.
I was
I'm
hoping to hear some Drew stories, some early Drew stories.
Yeah, I'm gonna hear about this later.
Is that the first time he's been on?
No. He's
No.
been on before. No,
Yeah.
he's a fan favorite, man. People love him.
That's great.
You know, speaking of, you know, I love. We'll take a break in a minute, but let's do one more here. You know, this one really caught my eye, and explain what this is here.
Yeah, that's the back of I guess what's the studio now? Who's there?
CBS.
Yeah, who's
Is that the Colbert Show?
Yeah, it is. Colbert's there.
Yeah.
That's right. And yeah, I mean that's pretty much. There's other images to the right of there. There's a doorbell. It's an old time doorbell, and that doorbell's still there. It's pretty great. But yeah, I guess it's where guests coming out. When I went there, I went early in the morning. I've gone twice, but I went early in the morning, and one time, you know, security was out there. They were loading in and out, and I guess they were just prepping for the show. But yeah, I mean that wall's still there. That doorbell, the old doorbell.
It's Elvis, right?
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought it was Johnny Cash.
No, yeah, I haven't got any Johnny Cash yet.
Yeah. And how did you, with such a limited sort of scope, how did you figure this out?
There's you know, like I said, going back into other images on there's wider images, and that something like this and off of Getty Images, it'll say the date. Sometimes it'll say what it was for. You know, he was there for the Ed Sullivan Show or whatever. Yeah, so it's that something like that is just known.
Okay, and that makes a lot of sense. Hey, let me shout out some sponsors. Let's take a break. We'll see you in a couple minutes.
Right.
All right, man. What's happening? It's the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. Our guest today, Steve Birnbaum from the band, was here talking about lots of cool history, music history. We are sponsored by New York Hardcore Comics, The Organic Grill, Chain Reaction Records and Skateboards, DTFM Vinyl Distro, Generation Records, and the Texas Silver Rush. The Texas Silver Rush is a jewelry design firm and boutique store located in the birthplace of the Texas country music scene in Fredericksburg, Texas. They specialize in working with musicians in all music genres to design and create unique one-off pieces, as well as to style them for stage, album covers, promo, photos, and social media exposure. Their client list includes Rock and Roll Hall of Famers Greg Rollet, Ringo Starr, and of course, happy birthday, Roger Moret, Agnostic Front. During this current pandemic, all information and online sales are being taken on their Facebook and Instagram pages, and of course, www.texassilverrush.com. New York Hardcore Comics opened in 2013, selling comic books, punk rock, and hardcore memorabilia, toys, statues, skateboard decks, vinyl, and all things horror. We love helping bands push their demos and new tracks, so please stop by and drop off your new music. We have in-store events like Magic the Gathering and Warhammer tournaments, plus meet and greets with bands and some live performances. Open 7 days a week and shipping worldwide. Find us online through Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and eBay, located at 117 Main Street in Dobbs Ferry, New York, and NewYorkHardcoreComics.com. Lest we forget, The Organic Grill is a vegan restaurant located in East Village of New York City at 123 First Avenue. Featured in New York Magazine, New York Times, and Veg News. The dishes have won numerous awards, including Best Veggie Burger. They make their own cheeses, sausages, and burger patties, and every dish on the menu could be made gluten-free. This year, they're celebrating their 21st anniversary, and they're all about having a great time while enjoying amazing, clean food. They have now fully reopened for business and look forward to seeing you. Get in touch with them and order some great food at www.theorganicgrill.com. You know what? Let's get a little kooky here. I'm going to announce the show. Let's announce the show. My patrons, I posted some clues about this show on the Patreon page today, which, by the way, I'll put that up in a second. Coming up, so you better get this party started. Sunday, August 8th. Come on now. Scott Ian from Anthrax, SOD, Mr. Bungle, and Motor Sister. Yep, it's going down. So everybody got to behave themselves when we bring Scotty in on the show. All right? I know there's like, oh, they tried to steal it. Yo, don't start shit with the poor guy coming on the show, all right? Please. He's nice enough to come on the fucking show. Just a reminder, another reminder. Did I announce this one on the show? I don't remember. Wednesday, July 28th, Dave Scott Schwartzman, OG, New York hardcore guy, who has an incredible memory. We're going to go real early New York hardcore. This guy's got an incredible memory. He was there early on. Dave Scott Schwartzman from Adrenaline OD. And also, let me just mention that EK is coming on the show August 4th. Lots of Warzone and Sick of It All. We got EK coming on the show Wednesday, August 4th. So get ready for all that. Want to mention, I know I'm preaching to the converted. I want to thank everybody, all my patrons, my new patrons, Zachary Kinney, Timothy Reichel, like Reichel, Derek Moomin, Ray Hogan, thank you, buddy, Jorge Rodriguez, and Linda Nardelli, my new patrons, fresh out the box patrons. Here is the Patreon address. Please support the show. What can I say? The show gets a lot of support. So, yeah, there it is. That's right. Scott, exactly. About time. We're trying, So there you go. Yep, it's going down. What's up, John Bernius? What do you say? Long Island represent. Yep. Billy Joel. No, not Billy Joel yet, but probably it's bound to happen sooner or later, with this Billy Joel guy. I think that covers a lot. If you're watching the show in rerun, there is a subscribe button. Please subscribe to the show. Also, if you have a communication device, which everybody seems to say, there's an emergency alert going on. If you live in New York City is urging all households and businesses to immediately limit energy usage and power outage energy usage to prevent power outages, as the intense heat continues. Please avoid the use of energy-intensive appliances such as washers, dryers, and microwaves. Limit unnecessary use of air conditioning. Fuck you. How's that sound? You hear that air conditioner that's blasting back there on high? My electricity is included in my rent. That shit ain't turning off for the whole summer, bro. You want me to turn my air conditioner off, Con Edison? Come and take it, baby. Where's Rich Zoller, Con Edison employee? You out there still, Rich? I'm holding you responsible for this travesty. This is bullshit. Microwave, I got news for you. Just for that, as soon as this show's over, I'm going to blast the microwave and the air conditioner at the same time. All right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, turn your AC off. Yeah, kiss my black ass. How does that sound? Yeah, Rich has it covered. You better. Anyway, let's bring our guest back on. What's up, Steve?
How you doing, bud? Another blackout now. Is that what we're dealing with?
I guess you don't have those issues up there in paradise, huh?
I was there for the blackout, though. That was fun times, actually. Brought everyone together. Some free roaming in the streets.
My phone's blowing up. They're like, turn your air conditioner off. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Go down to the subway and get slashed while you're at it. Fucking animals. Let's talk back to CBGBs. Here's some friends of ours, right?
Yeah, H2O. I love those two guys. Yeah, Toby. I love Toby. I mean, besides the music, Toby is just a huge influence on me. Whether it be the straight edge or him being a vegan and stuff like that, it's just he's a great like a role model, and he wears his his musical taste and just all over. He loves Coldplay, and so you kind of get that with my feed of, you know, my musical tastes are all over the place. And yeah, I just love H2O.
You know, I have to admit, I have certainly grown to appreciate H2O. You know, I mean, and that's one of the joys of doing this show is, you know, when somebody's coming on the show, I do my homework, I listen to their stuff, and I end up really getting acclimated to them. And Toby's brother was on.
Yeah, Todd.
Todd, who plays with Juliette Lewis. And we also had the drummer on, Todd's friend. We have 3 members of that band on, you know? So
yeah, they're
is
great.
H2O playing Friday night, Larry?
Yeah.
Oh, H2O is playing with Sick of It All, the benefit for the kid that passed away, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ah, that's sad, man. Yeah. Yep.
That's a BJ Pappas photograph there. Yeah, I mean,
Sure.
it's that, like something like that. Like I was talking about, just the lens that she's using. It's just tough to. I don't have that lens, but you know, you get the idea that it's in front of where CB's was. So,
have you ever heard from any of the artists or any? Has anybody like reached out to you? Like,
yeah, that's been great. Yeah, I mean, speaking of BJ, BJ, you know, she reached out to me after this photograph, and yeah, we just had a little relationship through Instagram, and she's been great, and which is amazing because she's a huge influence on me, and it's just great building those connections. Like someone like classic, like Henry Diltz, you know, Danny Clinch, you know, these people have, like, you know, really accepted what I'm doing. It's a fine line, you know. I'm always worried, but they've embraced it, and they've really put it out there, and we build these relationships, and it's pretty cool just seeing them all the time and comment on it and pimp it out. So it's really cool.
Oh yeah, actually, I think I have Henry Diltz. You know, I've met Henry Diltz. He's friends with Jamie Sharappa from SSD Control.
Oh, okay.
And Jamie had like a photograph processing place in Hollywood for a while, and I went in there one day, and he introduced me to Henry Diltz.
That's great.
You know?
I mean, his work is just stellar.
Is this a Henry Diltz photograph? Now, this isn't in New York City, so obviously you get out of town once in a while, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. There it is on Venice. Yeah, the Doors on Venice.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm heading out there. So I'm heading out to LA the end of July. So I'm prepping some new photos, some Henry stuff, and yeah, Venice is going through some stuff right now. But yeah, that's on Venice. The Doors. Some of their stuff, some of the Doors stuff is just amazing. I'm really surprised by their documentation of that band, you know, the films that they did. Yeah. Not to mention the photographs. I mean, just coming from like a film background, Jim Morrison, and, you know, going to film
and Ray Manzarek too.
Yeah.
Comes from a film. Yeah. And here's our friend Jamie Sharappa from SSD Control, you know, who I mentioned. He had the photo place, and him and his wife Angie, very close with Henry, who's Henry Diltz, very, very nice guy, really, really kind soul, you know.
Yeah, and Henry, his more notable one of the Doors is the Morrison Hotel of them in the window and that cover. So, and I've gotten that before. Yeah,
and you have that. I saw that on the page. Here's another West Coast. Yeah, this is West. I'm assuming this is West Coast. Now, you know, there's a little bit of a tie in here. We'll get to that. But was this done on that same West Coast trip?
Yeah, it was. There you go. Suicidal Tendencies. Yeah. And that, you know, I later found out, I mean, that theater is just historic, but I think that's where True Romance was filmed. Them coming, you know, Christian Slater coming out, and Alabama. A lot of history there, but that cover album there is it's pretty great. Yeah.
Yeah. It
looks like they it might be the camera and just the way I thought they maybe extended that. You could see that building there going up above. So just
like in Photoshop.
Yeah, they probably photoshopped it. I think.
Yeah, that makes sense. I worked on a music video from this record when I was the stage manager at 3G's record. At 3G Stage on 61st Street here in the Upper West Side. Which, of course, by the way, we shot some Biohazard there, and we shot Typo Negative Black #1 there. The part where Pete Steele's coming in and out of the light, we shot that, you know. at 3G Stage. Paris Mayhew from the Cro-Mags was the director. I produced it, through my company, Stone Films NYC. But at the time, before that, I think this came through before that, and I was the stage manager. So, I got a call, production company want to come in and shoot. Okay, what are you going to shoot? Suicidal Tendencies. Really? Yeah, sure. Love to have you. So they came on 3G Stage and they shot the video for Give Me Your Money or Send Me Your Money, I think it's called,
it was a live show.
No. It was a music video.
Yeah.
Send Me Your Money, I think it's called. Will you guys, somebody check up on that? Is it Send Me Your Money or from that video from Suicidal? Yeah, here you go. Send Me Your Money. That's what it was called. And it was really cool. And the bass player in Suicidal at the time was Robert Trujillo, who is in Metallica now.
Yeah. I mean, those guys. There's how many guys were in that band? How many bands?
There was a lot.
There's a lot.
And while we're at it, the Robert Trujillo Venice connection, being we sort of have Venice on the tip of our tongues. My brother Evan B. Stone lives in Venice, California. And I would see, literally, on his block, I'd see Robert Trujillo, jogging. And, I'd be pulling out of the driveway, and I would see, dude. Now, this was a little later on in the game, and this is when he was playing with Ozzy. And, that dude's, in really good shape, man.
Yeah.
I mean, and to do those kind of shows, you got to be in really great shape.
That stance, his stance is just seems like he's working out. Yeah.
Right. What else do I got from West Coast?
You got to talk to Glenn about, he produced, I think, one of the Suicidal Tendencies albums. He had his hand in that.
Oh yeah. He managed them early on.
Yeah.
Let's come back to New York for a second, being that we're sort of popping around. This is one I had no idea, and then I saw it on your page, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
This is cool.
Yeah, that's downtown. Yeah, Danzig. I mean, anything Glenn. I'm looking for look at those guys, right?
And it's so
I think that was actually their first photo shoot. I believe I may have been mistaken, but Michael Levine took that photo, I believe, and I think that might be their first photo.
You know what's interesting? I don't think the guy on the left is John Christ. I think this might still be at the very cusp of when they were Sam Hain, Danzig, because unless maybe somebody out there knows, that doesn't look like John Christ to me. That could be Damien, maybe. I don't know. Anybody know out there? Let's someone take a guess on that. Some of you Danzig freaks, or could I nailed it? But I happen to know where this location is. Being a New York historian, this is the graveyard that holds Alexander Hamilton, right?
Yeah, it's right to the left, I believe. Right, right over that fence there. Yeah, it's to the left.
Alexander Hamilton, and my sort of guess might be that they were signed to sort of like they were involved with Def Jam. Maybe
that was the whole Rubin.
Maybe because this is sort of walking distance from there.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And for the longest time,
I got it wrong. Wait. I got it wrong. I got it 100% wrong. I apologize. From the left to the right, it's Glenn, John Christ, Erie Vaughn, and Chuck Biscuits. My mistake. I apologize. Yeah. Yep. Good to have people out there that are in the know.
That's great.
I'm wrong. But yeah, I'm sorry. So, this is a good one. I like this one.
Yeah. That one took me a while because I could swore it was near the Halloween store. A little like around 11th. That church there. That's and for the longest time I thought it was there, and then. Yeah, I mean something like that. I'm just looking at churches. Like I remember going through Google Maps and just searching the tops of churches because you can see you might not be able to get a good grasp of it. But I'm looking for that design, and I was able to track it down just from that. Yeah.
Well, that's a very famous church.
Yeah.
I think during 9/11, That was the church. I forgot what the name of that church is. Lenny, you might know. That's the church that when the buildings came down, that's where they sort of that became sort of like, yeah. So
the blood banks, yeah.
Yeah, but right when it came down, there was like there was like the morgue. I think they lined bodies up in there, and yeah. Thank you, Thomas. That is Trinity Church, is what that is. That's Trinity Church in Lower Manhattan. Very, very iconic location. Speaking of iconic locations, and representing, I saw this picture and I had to put this shirt on because I am a big fan, of course, Mr. Frank Zappa.
Yeah. And so that was I was having a hard time, and I didn't know. I'm still trying to get into Zappa. If you have any recommendations on where I should start and how to go about becoming a fan, let me know. But I recently saw the documentary. That image had come out during the press of the documentary, the Alex Winter documentary. And that's actually from a pretty interesting documentary, which I later watched. I don't know if you ever seen it, Drew, but it's kind of like a day with Frank Zappa, and it's pretty. He talks with his girlfriends and his side pieces and being on tour, and he goes to a taco stand. And it's pretty.
I'm not sure, but I'm a bit of a Zappa fanatic, and really, Zappa. I saw Frank play many times, and when he was alive, I'm very fortunate. I saw him a bunch of times, at least. I guess not that. I saw him about half a dozen times, 6 times, maybe more. But loved Zappa early on. It's one of the first records I got was Frank Zappa apostrophe, and I've always been a big Frank Zappa fan.
Right.
But he's a character, man.
Yeah.
And
that documentary. I mean, being
was
someone
it the
that
Alex
doesn't know a
Winter
lot
documentary?
the
Alex Winter one.
Yeah, the recent one. Yeah,
it's great.
I mean, it's just great if you're not even a fan, just to watch it and to appreciate him more than just being some crazy cuckoo guy. You appreciate his art and the music that he created was great. Yeah,
there'll never be another like him. I mean, he was a very unique artist for those times, and sort of his rhetoric would not hold well today.
Yeah, some of the stuff from that documentary, not the Alex Winter one, but the still of that I'm holding. It wouldn't be interesting to do in today's world.
Yeah, with songs like Teenage Prostitute and all kinds of stuff, man.
Yeah.
But he was an incredible artist, and I just love his stuff, man. And stuff is still coming out, from my brother is friends with his son, Ahmet. My brother did some work with Ahmet, and my brother tells this great story about being over at the Zappa house in Laurel Canyon before they sold it, which from what I understand, Lady Gaga bought the house. But he tells a great story of being in the house, and he was with Ahmet, and they were interviewing someone, and Ahmet goes under the staircase. There's like a closet, like under the stairs, and pulls out a guitar and pulls it out, and it's the burnt Stratocaster that Jimi Hendrix burnt at the Miami Pop Fest that Frank gave to his tech, and they made it alive again. They put pickups in it. It was the burnt Strat, and I think the neck might have been broken off it or something. And just like, hey, check this out, like.
That's a good conversation starter, huh? Look at that. Wow. Yeah, I mean and talk about someone that documented all their work and documented everything that he did was, his archives is pretty amazing.
Yeah, and very sad too. He died young, prostate cancer, and just goes to show all you guys out there, man. Go and get that test, man. If you're in your 40s or 50, go get. It's not a big deal. Go get that prostate. That prostate test, man. It's not that big a deal, So What else? And this one, you know, we were talking about Trinity Church in Lower Manhattan. Like, I came across this one, and I was like, "What the hell were these guys doing downtown?"
Yeah. So this was the 81,
Right.
and I think this is their first time in the U.S. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure that this was from their first tour. So I can only imagine that Motorhead's going around doing the tourist attractions. There are some other scenes. There are some other images from, you know, World Trade, and it's just a look up, and, you know, their faces, the bottom of the frame, World Trade.
Oh, I see.
And so I could only imagine they were just hitting up the spots before they played. And, you know, you look at Lemmy's shirt there. I think, you know, he's a billboard. He's a walking billboard for him. You know, I think it's something to listen to Motorhead, or
So much for that faux pas. You don't wear your own, you know,
Yeah,
you don't wear your own shit.
If Lemmy's doing it, come on, you can do it.
Right. If Lenny's doing it, then it should be A-okay. You know, before we go, you know, let's all right, this one, I think I have to find this one again. Hold on. Oh yeah, let me find this one in the file again, because this one really speaks to our crowd here, and to our A7 crowd. This is a great one, and I mean, this one really brings me back. I think I spent a couple years of my teenage life standing on this corner, which is why I'm always so nostalgic about it. But this is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
This is apparently RuPaul standing in front of Sal's Pizza, which is right next to A7.
Yeah,
right?
You see A7, yeah, right in the corner, right there. I mean, you know, what Pyramid Club was right across the street.
Right across the street, sure.
Yeah. So I can only imagine. I think that's, you know, where he was probably, you know, hanging out at. I think there's a big history of RuPaul there, but, you know, yeah, I mean, that corner, you know, you don't imagine, like, I never realized how small. I see some of the shows, you know, from A7. You know, you don't realize how small it is, and some of those shows and getting crowded in there. That's great.
Yeah, we've done some crazy stuff in that room, and we're about to start the shows again. You know,
great.
Here I got one from the archive here. Sal's Pizzeria represent right there. You know, that used to be right next to A7. You'd like, and they'd be, you know, back then in low, you know, when New York was, you know, was open till 5 a.m, you know, you'd stumble out of A7 in between bands at 3 a.m. and go up to this window and be like, "Yo, Sal, let me get a slice."
Where you get a raise, yeah,
right. But this was, you know, and you could see, you know what I love, towards the right, those, I don't know what you would call those things, like the juice. What was that? Like that watered down, nasty ass bug juice.
Yeah.
Oh God, brutal. That shit was brutal.
So how you know, you could, I can't even imagine, because I came in around 2000, but I mean, even then, around Avenue A, Avenue B was kind of, it was, I try to avoid it as much as possible. I mean, I can only imagine the stories that you have hanging out. I mean, when were you down there? A lot, like, when, you know?
Well, the first time I came down there was in 1981, when we used to road trip from Boston. I grew up in New York, but then I went and, you know, sort of, let's just say, failed out of college real quick. But I was basically, Boston was my base for 2 years, and I was involved with SSD Control, and we all used to road trip down, and they used to play A7, and we'd get all pack into the vehicles and come down to A7 and play. And basically, it was like downtown Beirut, you know.
Yeah.
And this one story I tell, and I've told it a lot, and one of the guys in my band teases me about it, but I'll tell it again, is that when I was in the High and the Mighty, we used to play A7 a lot. The High and the Mighty were kind of like an A7 band. And I'd say 1983, we came down, and I had a van, and you go down and you park. And it was in the middle of the winter. I remember it was real cold. And A7 didn't start up until midnight. So you'd fucking show up, and sometimes you'd end up hanging out till 3, 4, 5 in the morning before you played, you know? So we're all huddled together. We're all huddled together in the van, you know, like you come down with your boys. You know what I mean? It was like a team effort. You know, it was like you know, strength in numbers, group effort. And we're sitting in the van, right, you know, outside the doorway of A7, and we see, all of a sudden we hear like brake, you know, screeching like in a car skidding, and we look up, and this punk girl is crossing the street with a 40-ounce beer in her hand, and the fucking cab slams into her, and she hits the windshield, rolls over the roof, hits the ground, and the bottle, the 40-ounce, hits the thing and explodes. The cab, we're like, holy shit. And the cab takes off, and this chick gets up, looks around, and staggers into Tompkins Square Park. And we were like, holy shit, Dorothy, we ain't in Kansas anymore. You know?
No.
And then in another time, we were sitting in the van. Maybe it could have been the same night, but we're sitting there, and some punk girl, whatever, goes in between the vehicles, drops her drawers, and like goes to the bathroom, like, and we're all in the van, and it's like we're watching it on like we're watching it right now, you know? And we were like, ah! You know, we're teenagers, you know. It was like,
jeez, I can only imagine. And John, you know, John Joseph has some great stories of, you know, I hear some great stories from him of, you know, yeah, it was, I missed that, but I can only imagine.
well, John, you know, John was down there, and John's very articulate, and you know, he was really in the mix, and those guys lived in squats too down there, you know, like those guys, him and Harley and Roger from Agnostic Front, and Rabies and Todd Youth, and you know, so many of these people lived in squats, you know. So
what was Avenue A? What was A stood for something?
A was adventurous. A was adventurous. B was beware. C was crazy. D was dead.
Death. Yeah. Yeah.
D was dead. And and here's my buddy Jamie from SSD Control. Those were the days like the Wild West. You know, Jamie knows, man. He was on the front lines. They'd fucking come to SSD would come down here. You know, I got a crazy ass picture in my archive. Let me see if I can find it. Oh boy, man! When you're hot, you're hot. Stand back, kids. This is a photograph by Phil and Flash. I found this on a roll. This was on a roll that I had from the Boston hardcore film.
Their cells there. Yeah.
And you know, like that's what, like
the pizza price went up. It went up 25 cents.
Yeah. This is what I love about scanning photos for the first time. You know, like Phil and Flash gave me the film, and he went out, and I was scanning it, and there was always like, you go through these band shots, and at the end there's always like a couple of these kind of like out of the blue, and this was on there, right? And I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is an accident out in front of the A7, like in the middle of the night, like an accident. And you could see like all the A7 people out there. I see Katie, the cleaning lady, and you know, I think Dave Smalley, and there was like four, and then there's another shot of the kid on the stretcher. But yo, this is what Avenue A. It's so, you know what it is? It's the lifestyle photos, like doing what I do. I'm like an archaeologist, a musical archaeologist, just making the Boston hardcore film, you know, the New York Hardcore Chronicles film. Who the fuck is that guy? The Alago film, you know, the film I'm making now. It's like, it seems in a lot of ways, what really resonates all these years later are the lifestyle photos.
Yeah. Yeah. And this would be, you know, like you were saying, it's like kind of a throwaway thing, but I mean, just alone, this picture alone just tells a story in itself, you know. Incredible. Whether it be the pizza price, the accident, what it looked like, the crowd at night. Yeah. Yep. What do you think of the area now? What's your take on
words?
Do you still enjoy going down there?
Yes.
Okay.
New York is my home. I'm a New Yorker. I love New York. New York's in my blood. I lived outside of New York for a couple years, and I was traumatized. And I'm back here, and a couple of things. Like my dad says, the only thing about New York that remains the same is that it's constantly changing.
Yeah. And
then one of mine is New York City. It ain't what it used to be, but it's the only place for me. And things change, and we're very fortunate that we've started these shows back at the A7, and we just put out this A7 compilation, and Jesse Mallon, who's an old hardcore kid, who's an old friend of mine, really gave us free reign to do shows there, and they really took off. And the energy in that room is still palpable. You go in there and you feel it. It's incredible.
Yeah,
it's almost like Stonehenge for hardcore, man.
Yeah,
it's incredible, man. And sure, you could look at it like, it ain't what it used to be, and this and that, and but there's still great moments, and New York City is still, there's still great stuff there. And sure, it's having a hard time right now, man.
Yeah,
shit is fucked.
Yeah, I was going to say, you just have to at least appreciate the fact that it's still standing in there, and you can do that. And Jesse has his hand in it, and he's doing things like that. Has Jesse been on the show?
Yes.
Oh, great. Check it out.
And let me mention that let me mention Sunday, July 18th. We come back. It's Rampage Mosh Fest at the A7, and Sunday, July 18th, we're back in the A7. The shows are free. And Crippled Urn, Enziguri, Silence Equals Death, Necrotic Society, Diamond Dog, Serial Poets, and more to be announced. So we're going to be back in the A7 pretty soon, and we're going to be getting it on. Let me take my final sponsor break, and we'll come back. We'll take some questions. We'll do a little more. Okay.
Great.
All right. It's the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. Our guest is Steve Birnbaum from the band. Was here talking a lot of music history and New York history, and we're glad you're out there. And thanks for supporting the show. How about Chain Reaction Records? Chain Reaction Records and Skateboards, located in Lakewood, Colorado, is the Rocky Mountain headquarters for all things punk, hardcore, and metal. Established in 2014, they have the largest selection of records, CDs, shirts, stickers, patches, and accessories between Chicago and LA. From the pit to the ditch, they got your back. Get in touch with them at www.chainreactionrecords.com. Also, what's up, Mark? Generation Records. We love Generation Records. Since 1992, Generation Records has been a mainstay of the New York metropolitan area music scene. Today, they offer a diverse selection of new and used rock, jazz, indie, hip-hop, punk, hardcore, metal, blues, soundtrack, and reggae LPs, as well as T-shirts, posters, and other merchandise. They buy used record collections and music memorabilia and will pay top dollar for them. House calls are made for large collections in the tri-state area. Call or email generationrecords@gmail.com and follow them at Facebook, on Instagram. I want to mention once again, the next show coming up is this 4th of July People's Show. People are people. That's why. Yeah, just a reminder. And we're bringing all kinds of people on. If you're a Patreon, come on. I want to hear from you. What are you doing? What's ringing your bell? If you're not a Patreon, join Patreon. Support the show. Please. Don't be a hater. Don't be a Hatreon, So yeah, the 4th of July show, we're going to put the link up. We'll pull it together, but we're going to have all kinds. Yeah, today's guest, people. There you go. But I'm gonna make an announcement on Patreon probably tomorrow, or the show's coming up on Sunday. We're gonna hear from all kinds of people. That's what we do here. It's what we do. Do I got everything else sorted out? I think I do, right? Everybody else? Yes, Joe Frank, you got to come down and meet everybody. Abso-friggin-lutely. That's it. we're going to do a couple more photos. If you have any questions for Steve, please post some questions. Let's give Steve some love here. Let's bring him back. Yo.
No.
You know, I like a couple more here as this one, of course, very interesting. I guess you had to take a little road trip up there.
Yeah. Big Pink, that's great. Yeah, I reached out to the owners just because I know it's kind of, well, it's on the way actually to where I am now, but yeah, I reached out to the owners who rented out. Actually, you can't get in the basement. It's part of the deal, I think, when you can, Airbnb it or whatever. But she reached out, wanted to make sure it was okay, and sure enough, yeah, they allowed me.
You're asking permission to come on the property and take
a
photo?
Something like that. It's a little, I didn't know kind of how, people do it. And when I was there, which I was surprised about, I mean, that's amazing about these photos and how it resonates with people and the music and everything. While I was there, I mean, 3 or 4 people, carloads of people came and just wanted to take pictures and be there. And that says a lot. So, yeah, but that was really great. And Robbie Robertson was kind enough to put that out there and had some nice words, and I can't even imagine, I couldn't imagine that one. Yeah. So, and Elliot Landy, who took those images and a lot of Bob Dylan stuff and up in that area is still there. And I'm trying to do a little short doc with him. But he was nice enough to
I mean, Elliot Landy is the Woodstock photographer from that era.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the basement of this house. Of course, the basement is where the, legendary, iconic, I mean, you can't heap enough on it, is where Bob Dylan's basement tapes were recorded.
Correct. Yeah. Now, the little fact here is that cover of that album, though, is not actually in the basement there. That's actually in the YMCA in Hollywood.
Is that right?
Yeah. So I'm trying to locate that while I go out to LA. But yeah, I mean, you think that that's in the basement of their Big Pink, but it's not.
You know what? Now that I think about it, it's a very staged photo. It's not sort of like in the moment. It's a very staged photo, the basement tapes photo, and like people are playing
performance. Circus crowd kind of thing. Yeah.
So while we are on the Woodstock tip, these are fucking epic, bro. I mean, just looking at this, I just feel like it like takes your fucking breath away, man.
Yeah, that's probably one of my favorites. Just what I do and what I'm trying to do, and to show the history and what once was there.
Sure.
And then just nothing there now, just to take a picture and just knowing the history, and that's pretty much what I'm trying to come through with these images and what I do. So
let me ask you, those rocks that are there, is that like sort of put there like this is where the stage was? Is
correct?
That
yeah. There's a peace sign. They put it in the shape of a peace sign. But yeah, I think it spelled that out, or there is a plaque there, but it says that's where the stage was.
Very good, Tony. Absolutely. I was going to say that's John Sebastian on stage there, and of course, formerly of the Loving Spoonful before that, right?
Yeah.
Here's another one. And these are great, man. I mean, you know what it is? It's like we're so familiar with these iconic images, to see them out of sort of that context, it just really makes your page so great, man.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is, just the history of this photo, and yeah, I mean, that's Woodstock right there, whether it be the cover of the vinyl and everything else.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's do a question here from Heggs, our boy. What was the craziest fun situation you found yourself in because you were taking pictures? What was the scariest?
With the Nas Illmatic photo shoot with Danny Clinch comes to mind. Over in the Queensboro project area. Went to get that, and there's a group of guys hanging out. I don't know if they were dealing or whatever, but they were in the park area where I needed to get the photos, and I went in there. I did my thing, and just just know my surroundings and everything where I'm going. And I knew they were over my shoulder, but I looked and they weren't over my shoulder. They had actually started walking away. And I went to get my photo, and sure enough, you know, cops were starting to come, and they were starting to eyeball what I was doing, and they hushed them out. They, you know, just got them out. So whether they were up to no good, but you know, the cops, you know, the cameras and the cops surrounding that area and having eyes on everything that's going on, I just felt like people were watching me where it was kind of alone. And it's tough going in some of these areas. But I really want to get that photograph because
those are the Queensbridge projects.
Yeah,
and if I remember correctly, also the basketball players from the Queens, the World Peace, Meta World Peace, isn't he? Anybody out there know that Queensbridge projects? Is it
Mob Deep's in that area? They
Mob
were there.
Deep. Is it who's the big basketball player? Is it Meta World Peace? Someone, yeah. Drew asks wait, before we do that, did we do what was the hold on, crazy fun situation? Did we touch on that?
Crazy fun.
Was there anything you were just like, or it's just
I
sort
mean,
of like,
you know, it's a lot like going back to the whole Nirvana thing and you know, just the history of Nirvana and what later happened with Kurt Cobain and everything. Things like that, standing in the locations of people I really admired and knowing that they were once there and the history, that really is, I don't know if it's fun, but you know, it's always interesting to be there. And yeah, I don't know if anything's really, I mean, it's fun to go there and do this. And you know, it's kind of like the back end of it and trying to find out the locations. Yeah, that photo. For the longest time, you know, I didn't even realize that was in New York, you know, for whatever stupid reason. But you know, very iconic.
That's interesting too, because and I thought about this as I was doing my notes. How much of this stuff was shot in New York City?
Yeah,
you know, iconic stuff that like the Who thing, and even this band that is so. Now this is early Nirvana, right?
This is Bleach. Yeah, this is Chad Channing of drumming before Dave came on.
Right.
But and they actually shot one. You know, they reshot it later after Nevermind, but they shot a version of In Bloom down there on the South Seaport. And there's an early version of that video with these three shooting down there. So yeah, always a rich history.
Here's another one, just because I want to get everything kind of up there. Boom.
Yeah, Fugazi. I love, you know, Ian has been, you know, I love Fugazi. Minor Threat, you know, I love Minor Threat. But, you know, Ian was a huge influence earlier on, you know, whether or not be his music, but just what he stood for and just being vocal and the whole scene and everything is great. And Fugazi, I love. Yeah. So then that's Glenn. Glenn took that picture.
Yeah, and these are probably, you know, we'll talk about this stuff with Glenn. And yeah, Ron Artiste, right? Meta World Peace, Queensbridge Projects. Yeah, I remember that. Ron Artiste. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, that's what I thought. What is this? Is this directed? Is this a question for you from our? Does he still collect Atari video game cartridges, and does he still make characters out of pancakes? Is that you?
He's doing a deep dive probably on my Instagram. I don't collect. I mean, that's just my old stuff. I do have old school Atari. Rat Bones would probably appreciate some of my toy collection of old school stuff that I still have from my childhood.
Wow.
Atari I still have. Yeah, and I was doing, as you know, when my kids were younger, I was making pancake faces and drawing stuff out. But yeah, he's taking a deep dive. But I appreciate that.
Yeah. Here's one. Any plans to shoot DC?
Yeah, I definitely. You know, Discord is like my number one. The Discord house is well, it's in Virginia, but you know, going in that area and getting some of those images of Minor Threat, and a lot of the stuff is live though. So it's not a lot of this stuff is. Some of the iconic images are live from live shows, you know.
Right.
But whether it be Ramones going to the Capitol, and you know, there's some images like that, and of course the Minor Threat stuff, and you know, Henry and Ian and Haagen-Dazs and, you know, ice cream.
Yeah.
There's some images. I don't know if that shop's still around. It was in the Georgetown area, but you know, I definitely, that's top of my list. And the Discord house is my number one. I definitely want to get there if anyone has any help on that and can hook me up, I would love it. Yeah.
Yeah. Where did I see? Wait, hold on. Where did I?
There's a great Fugazi one. I don't know if you pulled it, but from a gymnasium in Philadelphia,
Oh yeah,
the YMCA,
where he's hanging, through the
guys, yeah.
And you got into that gymnasium.
Yeah, I had gone there like a few times, 2 or 3 times, and finally when I went there, they were doing construction, and they let me in, and these construction guys were like, "What the fuck are you trying to do?" Like, and I got in. They were impressed after, like, "Oh crap, this happened here," and they looked up the video, and
that's cool.
It was great, yeah.
Paulie Pork Chops. Hey Steve, do you have a holy grail photo that you haven't been able to find the location for? Have you ever been like stumped, or like something in progress?
Yeah, I mean, there's I'm kind of drawing a blank on my queue right now. What I'm looking for. I'm really diving into the LA stuff right now, so I'm trying. I'm not familiar with that area as much, so Google Maps has been a huge help. But there was a Nirvana image that really comes to mind of just on a rock and a rock in Central Park.
Yeah,
and actually, I looked up a little bit more information, and it's kind of labeled as the wrong location. So I was kind of cheating and looking, and it's not even that location. I kind of, so that threw me for a loop for a long time, and it just drove me nuts. And I finally was able to locate it.
You figured it out.
Yeah. So I mean, there are things that just stump me, and the NWA cover I'm trying to locate and try to figure it out. I'm reading some backstories of the whole photo shoot and them walking around. It's just like they were walking around, and it was like an alley, and there's a glimpse of a building, but like I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get that, but you're really like an archeologist, man. Yeah,
you take clues and pieces and you put it together. This is one that caught my eye because I'm a fan of this band. But I never saw this before. This is in Central Park?
Yeah, and there's the Grateful Dead actually yesterday or 2 days ago, they put up another photo from, I think, the shoot that I had never seen. So I'm trying to track that down. I could only imagine that's right around the corner from where this was.
This is interesting. This is interesting because what the hell were they doing in Central Park in 1976?
Well, they played the bowl area.
No, not in 70. No, they played.
Yeah, I don't know what year it was, but I know they were
in the 60s.
They had played in the past. Yeah.
You know where they played in 1976? The Beacon Theater.
Okay. So
they played the Beacon, which is literally walking distance from there.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Because it looks like they're ready to pretty much to go on stage.
Yeah. All together. Yeah.
Yeah. I've never seen that. That photo, and I like this one too. Of course, caught my eye. This isn't too far. I mean, there's footage. There's great footage of this show. There's great film footage of this. This is them playing in the Commons of Columbia for a student. What do you call it? Like a demonstration or a Vietnam War thing. And there's great footage of this stuff, man.
Yeah, and I don't know if did they cut him off? Did the police cut him off after 15 minutes?
Well, they snuck him in a bread truck.
Yeah,
they had to sneak him in a bread truck. But no, it's all online. You could see it. Great footage. Really like wow.
They played that for free. To support of the students and everything. That's great.
So there's part of it, and let's do one more here. That last one that I pulled, of course, our friends. Jimmy G and Murphy's Law.
There it is. Yeah.
Yep.
Another Glenn photo, of course.
Right.
Yeah, and those buildings, that's great that they're still, is still like that.
Yeah, they haven't. Yeah, nothing's the corner building came down, but yeah.
And the gas station's not there.
The gas station. That's what I meant. That's what I meant. The gas station. Yeah. So you see. Tony Matura, great work, Steve. Really enjoying it. Yeah, man.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
You see what else we got. Your work must have changed your look on the city, just like when you started skateboarding. The city never looks the same. Great work. Cheers from Brazil.
Awesome.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just seeing the city transform over the years, and there's so much, there's so much construction now too. I go to a lot of these locations and I can't get them because there's construction and scaffolding, and it's or it's changed completely. It's tough.
Drew asks Steve if he ever displays his photos at the Vault restaurant in Yardley.
Who's this guy? Look at this. Bringing up.
My people go deep, man.
Wow. Yeah, the Vault's great. Yeah. Vault's right down the street from me. Yeah. And no, I have not displayed. I don't. They should.
That's great. Great. Let me see what else we got. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Good shit. Oh. Do you still do another one from our historian Chucky Brown? Do you still do 31 Days of Horror movies in October?
I do. I try to.
What is that about?
I love horror. So I mean, when the time comes, I'm just trying to watch a horror film every single day. And it's I was doing that for a while. I love horror.
A movie a day.
Horror movie, a day.
Is that right?
Yeah. So
can you recommend? Let's get it. Let's do a little horror. Have you seen anything? I tell you, I had on the show Chris from the Flesh Eaters, who wrote the encyclopedia of ninja of samurai movies, and he's a big film guy. And I asked him for a couple recommendations, and one of them was Train to Busan.
Yeah.
Which I thought was pretty good.
Yeah. I recently, it's not really a horror film, but it was kind of just creepy in a way. The Vanishing.
I'm writing this down. I'm writing this down, by the way.
I can give you a list if you give me a little time to think about it. I could definitely give you a list of.
And he also recommended the one where the girls go in the cave and.
The Descent. Yeah, that's great.
We watched 1 and 2 back to back.
Yeah.
Not bad.
That's probably one of my favorites. Just the claustrophobic feel of the Descent. It was it's really great.
Once in a while you get a director that kind of nails it. Like and like I feel like Blair Witch Project nailed it.
Oh, I love that film.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that.
Saw it 9 times in the movie theater.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
What was great is people where I was didn't know that they hadn't. I was into film, so I knew after a while that it was made and everything else, but the promotion of that and faking people out and bringing people that didn't know anything about it and saying that it was real was really effective. Yeah.
So people are chiming in on the Vanishing, the original Vanishing. I just made a note of that.
The original one. Yeah.
Okay. Any other recommendations out there? Let me know. The new Purge. I don't like. I don't mess with those Purge movies really. I think I saw the first one with my kid. Well, you know what else he recommended? The movie, the werewolf, the army werewolf movie. I couldn't find that on Amazon. Something about they're killing like some army crew killing werewolves. I didn't get. I don't know. Couldn't watch that. But so. Yeah,
I'm in the process of writing a horror film, so I'm hoping to try to get that going. And I mean that's what I love horror. Yeah.
Is there are you in development for a pilot for an episodic show based off The Band Was Here?
Yeah, so I'm writing that out now, and we're going to probably film soon. Michael Rappaport surprisingly, reached out to me and showed some interest and got my thought wheel process going and thinking about it a little bit more, and I've developed a little bit more of it, and we're going to go out and shoot and try to tap into some of these artists, the photographers, scout these locations out and try to do a show of it. So I'm excited for that. Yeah, should be fun.
Well, Rap is a lot of energy, man. Rap has it going on, man.
He does.
Yes, it was Dog Soldiers. It was called Dog Soldiers.
Yeah.
I can't seem to dial in and pay for it or anything here. I don't know. Thoughts on the Patterson Gimlin Bigfoot footage? We should get my brother on here to talk about that, being that he worked on Finding Bigfoot. Yeah. Man, I had to endure my brother's whole rap on Bigfoot, man.
Yeah. There's I heard his show. Yeah, he had some interesting stories, and what he does is amazing.
Yeah. That's cool. New Fast and Furious looks horrific.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I bet.
That's a horror film in itself, huh?
I gotta throw myself.
I can't actually. You know what? I can't knock it. I've never seen them. I can't say anything. They've done 9, so they're doing something right?
Kevin Haggerty, there was a black and white zombie film set in Paris where at the end of the movie she takes off her neck a red choker to reveal a thin red line across her throat. She had been a guillotine victim. What's the name of that movie? Fuck if I know, bro. I don't know, man. Don't know it. Have you ever seen the 1983 movie The Keep?
No.
You know what we just watched? We just watched American Werewolf in London.
For the original.
Yeah.
You don't think it holds up? I love it.
No.
Yeah, I think when my parents went there on the first date, that's what they went, and they
I
thought it was
loved
the
it
worst
too.
film ever. But I liked it.
I loved it for years. And then, you know how it is when you're like, oh, you never saw this, baby? Oh, we got to watch this. You know, this is epic. And like you sit there with your girl and it's sort of like,
it
I remember
doesn't age well. Huh?
Yeah, when I was married, I dragged my wife, like Star Wars was re-released on IMAX and I dragged it to IMAX. And I don't know what it was, but like, it just wasn't that good.
Yeah.
that night. And she was like, really?
Well, it's always cringy when you can feel the tension and the person doesn't want to be there and you're dragging them. It's just like, you know.
The Gate is the best horror movie ever. Is that right?
Yeah, that was I don't know about that. That's definitely, but that's my buddy Dan.
I'm writing that on the list.
But The Gates, yeah, that's going to be that's like the early childhood, that's, in the 80s, that's when we found horror films and something that really was scary to you. It probably does not age well, but it's my buddy Dan. Dan is actually, he's been a buddy since high school, a close friend, and he was main person to really say that, to open this up and to open up my Instagram, which was private at the time. So he saw what I was doing out in LA and he was like, you got to open this up and show people what you're doing. So thanks to
Absolutely.
Dan. Shout out to him.
And just to touch on some of these films we're talking about, as a filmmaker, man, like Blair Witch Project, or did you see The Green Room?
Yeah, Green Room was so
effective. To me, like filmmakers like that, like a very simple concept, very well executed, I'm like, why the fuck didn't I think of that? How could I not have thought of The Green Room?
Especially The Green Room, right?
You know what I mean? I'm a hardcore kid. Like, how did I not think of that? Or even Blair Witch, like once in a while, like a movie, and a lot, it's not a big budget movie, they just have a great sort of, they execute a great basic vision and it just resonates,
Yeah. Agree. The ones that you think you can do, which is sometimes not the case, but the simplest idea is the most basic form is always gets me interested.
Here's of course Rapone says, are you friends with the Delta Bravo guys? They do sort of the same thing. I was wondering about that too. Were you inspired by them at all?
No. Is that what's his face from House of Pain? Not House of Pain.
Oh yeah. I think he's involved in it. Danny Boy.
Yeah.
They go to location. It's the same sort of thing, but they do a lot of gangster movies and shit like that.
Yeah. No, I've seen like going back to I try to kind of avoid that stuff, and there has been some stuff that pops up. I just try because I like the hunt of it. So just seeing where the location, I like researching and doing it myself. I'll check it out though. Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody out there, of course, our guest today's been Steve Birnbaum. And check out the Instagram The Band Was Here. It's incredible. I came we never spoke until last night, until we did the tech check. I came across your page and I was like, I love this. I love what this guy's doing. And I want to talk to him and I want my people to see what this guy's doing, man. So
that's awesome. Appreciate
cool
that.
Shit.
Thank you.
I want to thank you, man, for coming on the show.
Thank you.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you want to shout anybody out? Thank anybody?
Just everyone that's watching. Yeah, thank you. And my buddy Dan and all the photographers that have really been, supportive and you know, okay with me using their photographs and doing what I do. I think that's been really cool. Just build those connections and have them be cool with it. So I appreciate that.
Fantastic. Well, thanks, man, and let's keep in touch.
I will. Yeah. Thank you, bud.
Talk to you soon.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Take care. Well, there you have it. It's the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. Great show. You know, thanks for hanging with me on this one. I know it's a little bit different, you know, but we got to mix it up once in a while. Can't talk about the same hardcore fucking shit all the time, right? We got to mix it up a little bit. And I really enjoyed it, you know. I really did. Bringing in people out of left field, you know, and Steve was one of those guys. Yeah, thanks, Jamie. Yeah, and good to see you out there, Jamie. Means the world to me. And Gary, you know, thank you. Like I said, we got to mix them up a little bit. Do I have any other? I announced Scott Ian, right? Yep, that's happening. So big July 4th. Yeah, his page is great, man. Go follow him. Thanks, Tony. Thanks for stopping by, bro. I appreciate it. Yeah, Mark, up there in Canada. Hey, Mark, you got to come on the show on Wednesday. All right. Yay. What's up, Dale? Steve's gone, bro. It was an interesting show. Should have asked him what his favorite one. Yeah, that would have been a good question. Little late on that. But yeah, it's all good, man. You know, it's all good out there. Stay off Facebook and that childish drama, man. You don't need none of that. God, what's happening with this world with everybody crying like fucking sissies on Facebook? My God. You know, thanks, John. Yep. All right. Good. Hey, look, I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Happy birthday to Roger Moret. Happy birthday, Phil Anselmo. Happy birthday, Arnie Stone. So that said, until next we meet, it never gets old. Do good things, and good things will come to you.